Welcome to Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories. I'm your host, Allison Preisinger-Higgins. Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories is a podcast exploring society, culture, and current events through conversation. We aspire to create an open, respectful, and equitable space where guests may feel free to share their truth and lived experiences. Our core values are rooted in community, connection, and personal development. Stories help us learn, relate, and grow. We are here to listen, to take notice. Thank you for being with us. I would like to acknowledge the land on which this episode was created. I would like to show gratitude to the traditional ancestral land of the Coast Salish people, including the Duwamish people past and present. Land acknowledgement statements are an important part of honoring those whose land we now live and work on. We begin each episode this way to help spark ideas and keep these conversations in the front of our minds so that we may continue to be open to doing better. I encourage listeners to research the land on which you live and are listening right now. Recognizing this is just the beginning. Some additional next steps to consider would be to seek out the stories of Native people from our shared history and today. Spend time asking yourself difficult questions and challenging norms that may be linked to colonialism. Engage in your community around topics like land tax, curriculum, hiring practices, decision-making, organizing, and reparations. Seek out media created by Native people. The more you explore, challenge, and learn, the more questions may arise, but this is how we grow and connect. Thank you for joining us for Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories. I'm very excited to share this conversation I had recently with the Executive Director for the Tubman African American Museum in Macon, Georgia. Originally from Los Angeles, California, Harold Young possesses over 30 years of event, artist, and facility management experience, the majority having been gained in Los Angeles, which you'll hear a bit about in our conversation in this episode. After moving to Macon, Georgia 13 years ago, Harold served as Special Events Manager and later as the Interim Executive Director for the Tubman African American Museum until recently being promoted to Executive Director, which made him the first African American to lead this organization as Executive Director. And you'll get to hear a bit about that experience in this conversation. Harold is also the station director and radio host of WYPZ Macon, a gospel station. They are currently in round 2 of the Stellar Awards, and anyone can vote for WYPZ in the small market category. So if you want to vote and support our guests, just head to www.thestellarawards.com. Once you're on the website, just find the button that says Radio Ballot. And then once you are on the form, just select WYPZ Macon in the small market category and hit submit. And in that way, you're supporting Harold, one of our guests, and we want to support all of our guests and our listeners in any way that we can. So let's help them get to the final rounds of the Stellar Awards. Thank you for supporting our Take Notice guests, and thank you for being with us. Please enjoy my conversation with Harold Young. I'm speaking to you from Seattle, and
Okay.
You're in Georgia, correct?
That is correct. Correct.
And
Macon, Georgia.
Macon, Georgia. Okay, wonderful. Thanks for joining me on Take Notice. How are you today?
I'm doing actually great. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful.
Georgia has a lot of pollen right now, so I'm kind of, we had rain this morning, so it kind of washed up things, but I'm doing great today.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to happen out here too. It's going to happen. The cherry trees are blossoming, and so it's turning.
Yeah, we have it going on now.
Yeah. What is it? What's it? I have never been to Georgia. I've been through it to get to Florida, but what's the spring like in Georgia? Obviously, a lot of pollen.
Yeah, it's definitely spring. The trees are getting, blossoming. It's like a real spring here.
Yeah.
It's different in California where you don't know, just it gets warmer, but it's actually you can see the season change.
Yeah, flowers and the trees blooming and things.
Yes.
That's really nice.
Yeah. It's so cool. So how's Seattle?
Seattle sounds similar, though it doesn't get as warm. It gets warmer and less rainy, but then the rain, it gets, well, I guess not less rainy, but less gray. I should
Gotcha.
say.
Yeah, exactly.
We need the rain for all the green, but
wow.
But it's starting to shift. I was able to do some yard work yesterday, but Other than that, not quite yet. So
Sounds good. Sounds good.
yeah. But you grew up in LA, in California, correct?
That's correct. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I've been in Macon, Georgia for 13 years. While I was in LA, my first job out of Marine Corps, I worked at Motown Records.
Ah, okay.
So it was pretty cool. They had an office in LA. And my first job, me being as aggressive as one would say I am, knocked on the door to ask someone they need to hire me.
Oh,
Yeah. And
and
it
it
was like, well,
worked.
we only have a mailroom job. I said, well, I'll take that. I need a job.
Oh,
And
awesome. Yeah.
that was my first job. Started in the mailroom and started working on promotions and been in the entertainment industry. While in LA, I worked at the Skechers shoe company. I was the urban marketing manager. Able to introduce their shoe to the urban market, which was the first. I was the first urban marketing manager there, so it was pretty cool.
Hmm.
Had met a lot of celebrities and a lot of product placement with movie studios. So that
Oh, okay.
experience, and then we were ready to make a change. We moved to Macon, Georgia, 13 years ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So going back a bit, when you were growing up in LA, who were you
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by? Siblings, family?
Yeah, my parents, both parents. I have one brother, three sisters. We all grew up. We actually grew up in South Central LA, and different kind of experience. But I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Hmm.
My mom being a little different because it was interesting growing up in LA. I actually didn't know any other cultures, any other nationalities besides black. And my mom, she made sure that I was bused to another city, which is Van Nuys, which is suburb. Well, I guess it would be the San Fernando Valley in LA. So I was able to. She wanted me to make sure that I integrated myself with other cultures and understand other national, which was pretty great experience for me.
Oh,
You
sure.
know,
Yeah.
so I had that opportunity.
What other cultures were you able to that you were what
Well,
kind of
I
sticks
didn't know
out
any
when you
white
think
people.
about
I
it?
mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I didn't know any white people. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody besides black, and
Yeah.
um, the Hispanic community had started just at that time. Had just started moving into LA more so, but I knew no one other than black people.
Hmm.
It was just really interesting. And my mom said she wanted me to, just meet no other people, cultures and other
Yeah.
nationalities, and just to see a different world. So that was my reason for being buzzed, not so much of being just what other people reason. What my mother just makes sure that I was just not boxed in with one community.
Hmm. Did she do that? Did your siblings do that as well?
No, I was
Mm.
actually my three sisters, my two sisters, and my brother. They all went to one school. My mom just always a little bit different, and my younger sister and I we both were bused out to the valley, which was
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I guess she saw how they were growing up, and she said, "Let me make a changes here." Yeah,
Oh, I see. I
so
see. So you're a
yeah,
little younger, and then
yeah,
she
yeah. I was
wanted to
young.
shift
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
nice. Is there five of you? Is that what you?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
nice. What did your mom do when you were growing up?
My mom was a homemaker. My father was he was a chef, and then he ended up owning a restaurant, and
Oh,
you know,
nice.
so it was interesting. My mom recently passed away last month, and
Sorry. Yeah.
thank you, at her funeral, I realized that people was like, "Oh God, what you're a latchkey kid," or I didn't know what a latchkey kid was. My mom was there greeting us. We got home and had our snacks and ready to do homework, and you know, I didn't even know
Hmm.
what a latchkey kid was, which was great for being my dad. He worked quite often and a lot,
Hmm.
and just a nice little family structure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think from what I've heard about chefs and restaurateurs, they're constantly working. There's no time, right? Yeah. Probably lots of good food at the house, though, I imagine.
Yeah. But he was bringing my mom. You would think that she would cook dinner, but she didn't have to because my dad would bring it home from the
Hmm.
restaurant. So it
Yeah.
was like, I'm like, Mom, what are you? too. Just be a good mom,
Yeah,
So,
yeah. She
but
gets to do all the other
house was
things.
clean, everybody's clothes were clean, everything was what she was. It takes a lot sometimes to be a homemaker.
Yeah.
I don't degrade that at all.
Right.
Anytime you have to raise children, your husband is working or spouse is working or your partner is working, it takes a lot to even to manage a home.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely. What kind of restaurant did he have?
it was almost like what would you call like a Denny's, just every
Oh, okay.
American food, yeah,
Diner kind of.
diner,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Nice. Okay. And then you went into the Marine Corps. Did you go straight after high
Straight out of
school?
high school, yes.
Okay.
Straight out of
Nice.
high school, I realized I was very involved in high school, student body vice president, and doing plays and in the band, getting ready. Everybody's preparing for college, and I realized I said, Harold, you're graduating, and you need somewhere to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a great point average to go, but I was like, I'm sick of school. But I didn't think it was going to be the Marine Corps. My plan was going to the Air Force,
Mm.
but I ended up going to the Marine Corps. Spent 4.5 years there in the Marine Corps. Great experience. Great experience.
Oh wow. Yeah. Did it take you to other countries, or did you
Yes, I
mostly
went to
stay?
Okinawa, the
Okay.
Philippines, Korea, more the Far East.
Oh,
So
okay.
mostly stayed in Pendleton, California. So on
Oh,
the
okay.
base there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was your job in the? I don't know much about the Marines, so
It's
what
called
was your?
MOS,
Okay.
which is your military occupation specialty, which is MOS. You get a number. My main MOS was a 0311, which is infantry, but I was able to work in administration. So I got
Okay.
hurt in boot camp, and I didn't want to go home. So I was able to stay around for a while and work in our S4, which is basically supplies in warehouse, in the
Okay.
office. So I had a great career. Didn't have to do a lot, but it was great still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It sounds like a great experience. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
being able to stick around even though you got injured, that's
yeah,
pretty.
yeah. I
That's
mean, I
good.
was supposed to get discharged in boot camp, but I wasn't ready to give up like that easy.
Hmm. Yeah. That's good. And then you ended up sticking around after you left the Marine Corps. You stuck around California,
Yeah,
and then
right.
got
That's what
into the Motown.
the music industry, So
Yeah.
and so multiple different position companies,
Okay.
from Motown to another record company was called Zoo Entertainment. Then a music magazine was called The Charts, which is kind of like an offset of Billboard. And then working last two jobs, one was Skechers, and then another company I worked for, HR company, as their office manager. So not really exciting.
I saw that you do a lot of event management and
Uh,
things. Were you doing that for those companies as well?
exactly. That's from seeing my background. I actually went to UCLA to get certified in event management and
Oh,
concert
okay.
promotion. So I have my certification in that as well.
Yeah, I'm involved in doing production for events in the Seattle area, so I'm
Oh, great.
familiar with some of the stuff.
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's
it's a
a
lot.
whole life.
Very time consuming, but people have no idea what it took to get a production together. They just walk in and buy a ticket and sit down.
Right.
The behind the scenes is
Yeah.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah, you walk into an event now or a festival or something, you can't once you're on the once you're on the back end, you can't unsee like all the things that are going on.
exactly. It's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Are your siblings still in the California area now
No,
or
actually, they all live in my parents before they moved to Oklahoma actually,
Oh, okay.
and then I have one sister in Virginia area, but most of them live in Oklahoma. I'm the only one here in Georgia.
All right. What initially brought you out to Georgia?
Well, a church, a friend of mine he asked me to help him with his music department, and
Oh, nice.
we were ready to get out of California. Hectic raising children. My wife is a school teacher,
Okay.
and so we decided to get out of California and raise our children here.
Nice. How
And
many kids?
we have three daughters. I have three older children from our previous marriage. But
Okay.
we have 3 daughters. My wife, my current wife,
Mm-hmm. What age range does she teach?
2nd grade,
Oh, wow.
special ed. Yeah,
Oh, nice. Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
My dad's a middle school teacher, so
Yeah,
yeah.
she did middle school. She did high school, but she preferred the elementary.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, if you have the choice.
exactly.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
And so that was about 13 years ago then, huh? That you moved
yes,
to Macon.
yes.
How has your experience been in the different communities?
It's different.
Yeah.
Macon is a different. It's different.
Yeah.
I and it was how different. What makes it? It's different. You know, and what is nighttime and what is daytime?
Right.
There's a big,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
Mhm.
You know, a great little city here. Macon is known for their music. Little Richard and James Brown and
Yeah.
the Almond Brothers. They have
Yeah.
some music history here.
Yeah, I was
But
looking at a map when before we got on here, just so I could see where Macon was in comparison to like Atlanta or wherever. And I saw, and the first thing
yeah,
that pops up is the Allman Brothers Museum. So I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because my friend that asked me to move here, he said, "Hey Harold, what's the move to Macon?" I said, "Where is?" He said, "Till we get a map." And I said, "I see Atlanta and Savannah. Where's Macon?" He
Yeah.
said, "Real close to the middle." I
Yep.
said, "What is that?" He said, "That's Macon." He goes, I said, "Oh no." Yeah, but coming from a big city was a big change. But so I
Yeah,
enjoy it now.
that's good. Yeah. So you played in band. You said you played in band in high school. Do you still play
Drums,
music or?
nah.
Okay.
Actually, that was a drummer.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more a percussionist now, but not a drummer. Yeah,
Yeah.
just I haven't played really. I mean, I play maybe once a year, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I'm not in a band anymore. And yeah, I
Hmm.
was in the marching band in high school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Same here, but
Yeah.
flute, so a little
Also,
easier to carry.
yeah. I had the timbales,
Yeah.
and tripods, and
Yeah.
bass drum and snare, and just
Uh,
different.
yeah, that's a lot. So when you moved out to Macon, you helped out with your friends at the church, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And then what kind of developed from there for you?
Well, it was interesting because he ended up leaving in 2 years. He went and moved to Baltimore, and
Oh,
you know,
got you
I
out
was
there and
like,
then
"Oh, you
left.
brought me here and you left." Okay, but
That's funny.
but it was fine. We were able to, maneuver our way into. I was in the after the church. I was the music director for the church,
Mhm.
and after that, I ended up getting a job and working in different TV stations and in the radio station.
Oh,
The radio
okay.
station I work for now, I'm actually on air personality for
Oh,
the
nice.
station for the gospel station. That we are now on the first round for the Stellar Awards, which is a
Oh,
gospel music award. If you go to stellaraward.com
yeah.
and vote for, you'll see it's a small market, it's a radio ballot, small
Okay.
market hit WYPZ. You see Harold Young. That's a little plug there.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, so
We'll put it in the
stellarawards.com,
notes.
WYPZ, Macon, Georgia. You see Harold Young. So I just
Okay.
need that little plug.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody can vote for that. So I
Oh,
mean, across
perfect.
the country. So
Yeah.
um, I need all the plugs I can get. They do it in rounds. So there's the first qualification round, and then the
Oh,
second
yeah.
time you become nominated after that. So,
Yeah.
but this is for consideration.
Nice. So it goes on for a while if there's multiple
No, it's
rounds then,
actually
or
we have until the first or the 4th of April to, and
oh,
then the
okay.
second round takes place is 4th through the 21st, and then they make the announcement if you're fully nominated. The awards going to take place in July in
Oh, okay.
Atlanta. So this
Gotcha.
is this is the steps of different awards.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed. That
Did you
sounds
write that
awesome.
down?
I did. I'm
Okay.
gonna put it in the notes.
Yeah, stellarawards.com. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, so this is my second time I've been nominated. Actually, I made the nominations before. I made
Okay.
the second round before, and I guess didn't have a big enough push, so I'm trying to push it as much as I can this time. I want to bring it
Yeah.
home this year.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Awesome. How frequent is your show?
It's on every day
Okay.
from 10 to 3. That's on Praise 99.5, www.praise995.com. I'm on from 10 to 3 every day here. My radio name is Brother Harold, Brother Harold. So I'll have that going on. Also, the program manager for the radio station as well.
Oh, wow.
Also, the executive director of the museum.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. How long have you been involved in the radio station then?
We'll just celebrate 7 years on air.
Wow. Very
Yeah.
cool. Nice. So you're obviously not. I'm just trying to picture. So there's some that are just online, but you're not just online. You can dial in if you're
It's
in
called
Macon.
terrestrial. We're terrestrial and online as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So yeah.
And then when did you start up at the museum? You're at the Tubman Museum.
2015. Wow.
Okay.
7 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. So about the same time as the
Yeah, about
station,
the
huh?
same time. I started off as a special events manager for the
Okay. Yeah.
museum. From there, I got moved up to a director's position. And 2 years ago, the previous executive director left, and I was interim for a year. And in the last year, they made me full executive director of the Tubman Museum here in Macon.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Congratulations. I imagine it's
It is,
a great
yeah.
position, but also a lot of work.
Definitely a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. A lot of times when you work for a company, people don't understand. They're like, "Oh, I can do that. I can. My boss is doing nothing."
Oh,
You don't see.
right.
You don't see what they're really doing.
Yeah.
Now you're the driver. You're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is what you were doing. Oh, okay."
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hear
So
you.
sometimes it looks like it's easy to drive the car, but it's really not that easy. You
Right. Lots
know?
of things in play behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. What has been kind of some of the main things that you've had to adjust to, do you think?
Well, the biggest challenge is also just raising funds
Oh,
for the
sure.
museum. A nonprofit. The Tubman, it's called the Tubman African American Museum, and one of the biggest challenges is that it's focused on art, history, and culture. It's not just a Harriet Tubman Museum,
Hmm.
and some people think that museums aren't necessary of any culture, and that seems to be the challenge that you need to
Mm.
understand. It's not just for African Americans; it's American history. It's part of the American experience.
Hmm.
So we just getting people to understand that museums, whatever, if it was an Indian museum, a Chinese American museum, any type of museum, it teaches, it preserves the history of any culture, or if it's a cultural museum or an art museum, we focus on all three of those. We have
Yeah.
art, and then of course we talk about the history, and then the culture through the African American eye. So the challenge is just also just raising funds and having people understand the real meaning and the real significance of a museum.
Yeah. I imagine you have to do a lot of probably creative work in that
Yeah, yeah,
to do
there are
that.
grants out there.
Uh huh.
Some museums across the country are city funded, are state funded. We're not.
Oh, okay.
We do receive some hotel tourist money,
Oh, sure.
from the tourist aid, but that's if people don't from the town, you don't get any money. But
Yeah. Right.
you have to rely on that. But and also just having different events to keep the museum, open.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I've started a list of take notice this podcast on the road. Like my dream would be to just go on the road and do these interviews, and so I marked down spots where I'd like to stop, and now I have
hopefully
Tubman
stop by here.
Museum on
Yes,
there.
yes, definitely.
Yeah, because I museums. Yeah, they're I have so many good memories of museums and and the impact that they can have. You know,
Yeah.
just the information just sinks in a different way. So, what kinds of events do you all do to as part of the museum?
We have two major events that we do throughout the year. We just had a black tie fundraiser in January. It's called All That Jazz. We brought in legendary Motown artist Smokey Robinson,
Oh
black
wow!
tie affair, raised some money for that. And then in the month of April, we have an event called the Pan African Festival. It's a 2-day event. Last year we had about 12,000 people for 2 days. So this year probably be bigger because of the pandemic, being
Right.
where it is. I think we kind of cancel the pandemic,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little
so,
different than last year for sure.
just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. That's wonderful. And then in the museum, you focus on cultural history and arts. What
Correct.
type does it? And museums usually rotate through things. I imagine. I
Yeah,
don't
we
know too
do.
much, but
It does. We do change over every 3 to 4 months. We have a rotate.
oh, okay.
So if you come here 3 months from now, it may be changed over again. So
Wow. Yeah.
we do have some permanent exhibits inside the museum,
Hmm.
but we do have a couple of galleries that we do change over.
Okay. Yeah, that's more frequent than I was expecting for some
Yes,
reason, but that's
yes.
great. What are some of the permanent displays that you have?
We have one of the displays. We have a mural. It's about 12 feet long. It's called Africa to America, and it was created by a artist named Wilford Stroud. And it's a huge long mirror that talks about, you'll see from slavery to President Obama and different. It's a huge mirror, different time frames on the mirror. We also have an inventors gallery. We show different inventions, either
Mm.
created by African Americans or interchanged by them. We have a gallery that's dedicated to the legacy of music, which is James Brown, Little Richard, and Otis Redding. Excuse me. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Wow. That sounds really interesting. I would love to come see that sometime.
Yes, ma'am.
I look forward to
You
that
can
in the
actually see
future.
the virtual tour
Oh,
on
perfect.
on our website,
Okay.
tubmanmuseum.com, and there's a virtual tour on there. You can see what the museum looks like.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Was that spurred by the pandemic, or was that available prior?
No, kind of both. No, it wasn't
No.
prior. Definitely,
Okay.
I went. It was something that I said. I probably we kept the doors open at a minimum. We didn't really close for probably like a week or two.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing major.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, a lot of the spots out here I think closed completely, and then lots of virtual tours and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of the associations kind of discourage the virtual tours. You really want to get people in your
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah,
When you took over as executive director, I read that you are the first African American executive director of the
that's correct.
museum.
That's correct.
So, how long has the museum been around?
40 years.
Oh wow, first one. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, that season surprised everyone.
Yeah,
But I guess the position, I tell people that the position was waiting for me.
yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so I'm grateful to be the first.
Did you feel any certain way about that when you took that on, or was it just it was what it was?
It was what it was, and
Yeah,
was I up for the challenge? Yeah, even being the first, it's kind of you're under a microscope because it has been existed 40 years.
hmm
So I mean that's in any position, but I was like, okay, let's see what he can do, or what he's not going to do, or what he's going to do. You
hmm
know,
How's that gone so far?
oh,
Seems
it's
like
going great.
yeah,
It's actually going amazing. So I'm happy to see how the museum is going.
yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. And now that everything's kind of more relaxed and shifted
Right,
back to the
exactly.
same too.
So
Yeah,
like we had a very successful event in January. All that jazz and the Pan African Festival, people are really excited. That's why my phone's ringing off the hood. People calling and asking about
yeah.
it. You know, but
Busy times.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But we're excited about the direction the museum is going in, and I'm looking forward to see where we're going to end up.
Yeah.
Right,
That's wonderful. So, who or what has been a big influence on you, either when you were growing up or through your different careers or now?
different. When I guess when in the industry, when I was in doing events, more concerts. There's a gentleman. His name is Al Heyman. He was in charge of these big festivals and concerts, and I used to go and wondering how did anybody person put this together. Then, big influences, dealing with different. I guess honestly, my biggest influence was my father too, as well, because he worked hard and taught me about family structure and making sure you take care of your children. You know, people. And number one is take care of yourself first. People have to always say that. I'm gonna take care of my children first. No, actually, your first priority should be yourself, and then because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember specific moments, or was it more just like the general influence from him?
So it's pretty much,
Yeah.
just overall, just a great person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That always equates to like that airplane thing to me. Like you have to put the mask on first before you can help anybody else, or else
That's
you're
exactly what he
you're
said.
out of breath.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Make sure you take care of us first, and you can take care of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I live by that. He was such a giver. And he would get me when you hear people say they'll give you their last. He would literally reach in his pocket and said, "I only have $5," and he said, "Here." And I would ask him. He says, "It's going to come back to me."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Sounds like a
so
generous man.
a
Yeah.
great person, great
Mm-hmm.
person. So that's my biggest influence.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
Yeah. The gentleman you mentioned first, Al, was his name
Al
Al?
Heyman.
Did
Al
you
Heyman.
work with him directly or?
No, I only
Okay.
met him once.
Okay.
He's actually the boxer Floyd Fairweather. He's his manager right now.
Oh,
I met
okay.
him once.
Uh-huh.
He's been around. That's how long he's been around for those little boys to now.
Wow.
And when I met him, I was a little disappointed because I was excited, But he was, and I have to give him. He was in work mode, when I met him.
Oh,
So,
sure.
it wasn't anything that he did wrong. It just wasn't. I was expecting something more,
Mm.
like. I'm like, oh my God, Mr. Heyman! Oh my God, I'm so excited to meet you. And then he goes, oh, okay. So didn't quite get the response that I wanted, but it's okay. He was in work. He was working, and I get it, so I don't hold it against him. But I was kind of, when I met Whitney Houston, I was impressed with that.
Ah. How did
Uh,
that come about?
well, when I was a Skechers, the shoe company, I was able to do something with her and her family, give them some shoes, and I had an opportunity I had to deliver. She was actually in LA at that time. I had to deliver them to her hotel. She said it was called the Bel Air Hotel.
Got to go hang out for a
Yeah,
moment.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
That sounds exciting. Yeah, it's fun how events and the different work that we do can run us up into people that you never would have thought
You
of.
never know.
Yep. I got to meet Bootsy Collins one time because of that.
Oh, really?
So. And his
That's
wife.
exciting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Just escorting him to his stage, but hey,
yeah, but hey, that was great.
In the vicinity, right?
And you remember it for the rest of your life, won't you?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
But yeah, that's what they say about meeting. What you mentioned about Al is like meeting your hero. Sometimes it's not all it's cracked up to be. You want to keep that image in your mind.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I have to stay. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I tell a lot of young people when I'm doing these seminars or whatever, and like, don't get caught up on the hype. And that's unfortunate. It's okay to have a mentor. That's why he's to influence your life, but just keep it in that perspective. Understand they're human. They have issues just like anyone else.
Exactly.
If you understand that, you won't be disappointed. You won't you take whatever that is. If they influence you to go back to school, they said something to inspire you, use that.
Mm-hmm.
And stay there, because there may be an opportunity, maybe to meet them, but then there maybe not. So you just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really important. Yeah, because
Yeah.
people are put up on these pedestals, and
Yeah.
these people,
Yeah.
they do inspiring great things, but they're still human. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good point.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. What kind of educational? I saw that you all do educational things at the museum. What kinds of programs are there?
We have an after-school program it's called Pipeline to Success, because the society has put together this thing called Pipeline to Prison, and our goal is to counsel that. They said by the time a young person's in the third grade, they'll know if they're going to prison or not.
Mm.
And our goal with our after-school program, with mentoring and tutorial and other type of activities going, we're going to counsel that. So we have a great after school program. The funding came from different entities. There's a big law firm in Dallas, Texas, that has helped fund this.
Mm.
So it's been a challenge with that, but it's been great to see young people's eyes light up who come in here sometimes, or hung down, and then you see you see the light bulb come on.
Yeah.
So and then we have that's our biggest program, our after school program right now.
Wonderful. And so that's a handful of instructors that you hire that
Yes.
comes in, and
Yes.
oh, wonderful. That sounds like a great program. Yeah.
Yes.
How long has that been going on?
A year.
Oh, that soon. Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. We need more programs like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so did you say you had 6 kids? Is that correct? And then
That's correct.
how old are your youngest? Are they still in school?
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
My youngest, she's 19.
Oh, okay. So just left high school, huh?
Yeah.
Are they off at college and all these things, or?
They've all college. Well, my daughter's here. The ones with me now, school teacher. The other one another one graduates college next month. So her that's the middle daughter. Degree in criminal justice, and then I have my youngest daughter, who is a workaholic, who's worked and in school.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she know what she wants to do?
No.
Yeah. She's working towards all of it.
Exactly.
Any other news for the museum, or anything else that you would like to highlight before we finish up?
No, we're just excited about the museum and the growth. We want to educate everyone, all cultures, even though the sign says African American. Please, if you're ever in Georgia, come through Macon. You have to come through Macon if you're driving, try to get to Savannah, or from Atlanta to Florida. So you definitely stop at Macon. You can't pass it. So stop through the Tubman Museum. You can check us out on our website, tubmanmuseum.com. Also, remember the Stella Awards, StellaAwards.com. And then finally, we said small market, you'll see WYPZ. I want you to do that. I want you to, once we finish, I want you to go on the line. You do it too right now.
Mm-hmm.
And go and vote for Harold Young, and let's make this happen for everybody.
Wonderful. Yeah, I will be hopping on as soon as we're all finished up.
Well, great. Any influence of some of your friends, you say, hey, I met this wonderful young man in Macon, Georgia. He's
absolutely. I will. I'll spread it around. Absolutely.
Would you do that for me?
I'm going to spread it around. I'm going to share
it.
You
will?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, well, I hope to hear in a few months that you won and are taking this award home.
Exactly. I'm going to tell all my friends all across the world. I can say that because you're broadcast all over the world, and Seattle, and my friends, and I want to thank everybody who voted for me. Oh, most definitely. I got to. I don't forget where I came from, so how I got there.
Right.
So I'm really encouraged. But I just want to encourage everybody stop through Macon, Georgia when you get an opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I appreciate you hanging out today and joining me on Take Notice, and it's great to hear your story. And
thank you very much. Hope it's exciting, interesting enough, but we'll see.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody's story is everybody's got a story.
Everybody has a story. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you very much for your time as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us for Take Notice Amplifying Black Stories. Please subscribe and follow us on social media. We are at Take Notice Podcast. It would really help us out if you could take a couple of minutes to review our podcast. You can do so through your podcast app or by visiting our website. It's takenoticepodcast.org. Thank you for your support. Take Notice Amplifying Black Stories is produced, hosted, and edited by Allison Preisinger Higgins with help from many. Music by Version Big 5 featuring Darius Higgins. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for taking notice.
Hear them saying that